Very good evening, one and all present here. I welcome each one of you along with the resource person for today's webinar session. And we had many webinar session with the present resource person. She is a joint coordinator for this webinar series. And she was the first person who initiated this webinar. And when the government of India announced the extension of this lockdown, we are again resuming every day. And for the next couple of weeks, we have booked resource persons. I think there are many of them are generous. We are going to have many resource persons and the different sessions in the coming week. And for today, it is our 440th session. With us, Dr. Subhasri, and she is a PG at Department of Psychology at Madras School of Social Work in Chennai. And she is going to talk about psychological impact of traditional games. I think many of us, we forgot to play the traditional games when the lockdown was announced. Some of them they explored and how to use the traditional games. And we are going to know about that psychological impact of traditional games with right resource person. I welcome Dr. Subhasri and all other participants for today's webinar session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suresh, for the wonderful introduction. And I'm really indeed to join with you all. I'm joining with this topic because this is very close to my heart. This is something which is a very important topic for the day, I should say, because now we all have been moved into very monotonous way life, and we have forgotten our traditional aspects, certain aspects what we have had in our early life. So I'm going to give you an nutshell of what I know, what is the psychological implications of different games and what we have played so far. And
audible.
am I not audible? Okay. So there are a lot of games which we all enjoyed in our childhood. I'm going to have little activities for all of you also. Please join with me. And this is going to be really helpful for all of us to rebuild our games which we have played in early days to help our future generation also. So child psychology says that the very important aspect in the early days is the motor development, the perpetual development, that is the perception, the formation of concepts around the world, the schemas which you develop through that, and the interpersonal, intrapersonal. All these are very, very important aspects. And this is integral part of our child grooming practices. And if you really look into our games, our plays, our traditional toys which we have used, have been aligned along with all these benefits. So let us explore the games. List of some games you played during your childhood. So you can use the chat box. You played during the childhood. You can use the chat box. Can you list out?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes. 5 stones, Pallangudi, gate to gate. It's a new game for me. Ludo, okay. Snake and ladder, fine. Okay. Pallamanna, cute, okay. Advertisement, hide and seek, nice. Anything else? Very interesting. Okay. So these games which we have played here, you can see the tuck of war. And what is this game? The right side, it is there. Pandi, you would have played this, no? And what is the game? Right side is there.
Or kunte bille, ma'am.
Yeah.
Suresh, I have certain disturbance, audio disturbance. Is it from my side?
Just muted everyone, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. So with this note, I'm just moving on to the next one, that is about the entire childhood, no, it has an gross motor development, visual motor, and problem solving. And our brain develops with language and other aspects. So I have listed out. This is available in internet. I'm not going in deep about this because this is not going to be a new thing for people with psychology background. This is there in the human development paper that you would have studied. But if you really look into in deep, that when you have been with your child right from the first month, all these you can look into. That is, you have been using the games, toys, or whatever the play you are involved with the child. It is appropriately aligned along with their developmental milestones. So you would have remembered, you will be talking to the child, you will be smiling a lot, you will be having an games which is very very relevant for the development. And this is really helps the child to grow with understanding of what is going on. So till fourth month, the gross and visual motor problem solving, language and social aspects have been listed here. But this I'm not going in detail. As I said, that's, let us remember our traditional games, the toys, our own granny played for all of us. So, for example, the child will be holded in the lap, and the child, the head will be positioned like this, and the child will be given a kind of a shake in a very, in a very very rhythmic way, and you would have even, remember the song Sanjad Amma Sanjad. They would have played with all the games, isn't it? Yeah. So this particular game, they align with the kind of balancing the gravitational force. The child is learning for, looking for and a kind of positioning, and also head positioning, all that. There are a lot of games as an integral part of alignment with our own developmental milestones, which we are not at all aware of it. And the next very important aspect is about, when the child is learning the concepts by having all the play items around, and you can see that all the wooden toys will be used in those days, and even the nadavanti, we call it, no, the walker, which is being used without an kind of an sophisticated wheel system. So this is easy for all of us, the child, grip, and also the child is able to grip and use it and walk around. And this is a very important aspect I would like to mention, that sophistication, what you really bring, it is actually spoiling the child motor, sensory development. So you please be aware of all this when you have been introducing all these games. Until 12th month, there is lot of developmental minus to the micro development to the macro development takes place, and this is the period is very essential for the brain, brain cell development. That is the basis. And also for the next aspect of socialization, the child learns the language, the fundamentals takes place, and the concept formation takes place. The child will know about the size, the child will know about the texture, the child will know about what is the kind of an the nature of the article or the toy, what they are using, all that. And they also use all the sensory organs. They will touch it, they smell it, they also feel it, they also taste it, all that they will use it. So naturally, they are very mindful while they are playing. Please be aware of this. While you are grooming the child, you should let the child to be in such an environment where the child can learn on its own, and provide such a kind of a traditional game sets of toys and other aspects which is appropriate to their age level. So this is a very important aspect I would like to give a slight introduction. So we all are in the same page that, having said that, there is a lot of games and plays and toys related to our milestones need to be guarded and need to be taken within consideration for the next generation, because most of them are not aware of what is that we have done and what these games and plays does for us. It is actually builds the intrapersonal skills and interpersonal skills and intergroup skills. If you really see that the socialization process, once a child is started moving with the peers, the intergroup skills also actually takes place, so that the person is able to understand their own capacity, and the child has started thinking about self. I'll tell you that very important aspect, the aspect of self develops as per the child human development perspective from the age 3. And you can see that the child is able to distinguish me and the other person, able to see the mirror and understand this is me, and other aspects are in the even more early stages. But the me concept of understanding the person, and it evolves in the three. So there are a lot of traditional aspects have been followed for each milestone in our life, and which has been celebrated in across the traditions, across the communities. They have little functions and celebrations and rituals associated with this. So if you really look into these aspects, this intrapersonal, interpersonal, and as well as intergroup skills have been developed through the games and as well as the play. There are a lot of research studies says that this is an really an helpful aspect in building the relationship for the interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships. Am I audible right now? Somebody said that I am not audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. So, for example, if you really name a game, I will tell you about the benefits. So look into this game. This is a very small thing which they have come out of their own. This is something, they are doing it with the help of the coconut shell, and they're, tying it with the, kind of a thread, and they're working on that. See, look at this. They have come out on their own a new game. They have to walk on the, with the help of this for some time. So look at this. This is really helping them to be very innovative, creative, because the available resources at that particular place have been used as a material for that. And it is eco-friendly, which could be recyclable or which could be destroyed and which could be, digestible by the mud. And also manually made toys. It has a kind of the sense of accomplishment when the toy has been made by the child. And balancing, it's a very important perpetual skills for perpetual development. It is very essential for all of us to gain a balance. And the child, when it has been walking the first time, and when first year, it finds very difficult to balance itself. It runs faster to gain balance, and then later it gains balance by understanding the gravity and other aspects. So balancing in an uneven surface, all these are an essential brain training takes place. And very importantly, economy. The available resources has been utilized properly. It is not only creativity, it is also economy. If you go for purchase of one toy, particularly when Suresh was looking for a helicopter while he came to Chennai, it was 800, 700 or 600. When it comes to traditional games, it's all very eco-friendly and very user-friendly. Also homemade items. You can use it from the waste. You can bring it from the waste. Okay. I remember there are a lot of waste products have been used as a toys for all of us. And then the other one is about the happiness, the sense of happiness, the sense of satisfaction, the sense of mastery you gain out of your own innovations. So this is a very essential aspect we need to really look into from the games. And if the games have been in a traditional way, it has been played, and there's a lot of people have said that they are able to improvise every now and then. And the other aspect of games are it is natural way of building psychological well-being. One must be aware of the games and the way the child is relating to the other person. It is a fundamental way of human interaction. We learn through certain play games, and they enjoy. If you really look into the child, if the child is newly watching a stranger, if the stranger is sitting somewhere in the corner and the child is watching here, is that any bonding will build if the stranger doesn't have a kind of interaction or a play or showing a face or doing some games or something. This is a very important aspect. The child feel friendly if you come down and play with their age level. So this is possible for all of us to really relook into that and provide so many benefits for people in the interest in their abilities, because the game chosen by the child to play consistently shows that what kind of an abilities and interest this person has. Because as a career counselor, I have also seen that many of the inborn talents are there. Some of the core talents which you are born with, those talents are called the aptitude which you have been specially made up for. And these people are able to align with their interest and abilities when they pick up the games align will naturally go for such a kind of a game where their abilities can be, shined out. And these people prefer such a kind of a game because of their interest. So we can actually observe the child why they're moving such a way. And then children especially love playing games, and these activities provide such a great opportunity for them to practice so many skills. I'll tell you the benefits of skills, are actually it is countless if you really look into the games here. If you are given, it talks about the life philosophy, it talks about the, it talks about in every aspect of our life. You just think of the first game which I have given is about, there are two people have a barrier and you have to jump, and then they rise the barrier. You know that they rise the barrier and they rise the barring. Rise the bar is something is very commonly practiced in traditional games. It's a very essential aspect for goal setting, and it is also very important aspect for testing your own ability and proving your confidence, and also moving forward is very important aspect which is being taught through this game. And these are simple games which really helps us in so many ways. Look at the square game which we used to play. It is helping you to remember. It is very, it helps to have a presence of mind. It helps to know spontaneity, and it also helps a lot of numerical and logical reasoning also. So you name it, I can give you the benefits of game. That much there are a lot of benefits are there. So we have an interesting aspect here. So this is something which we balance with, this is bumper, a topper. We use it, even this has in some significance and also able to connect with our psychological concepts. And all these games have been played by all of you while you were a childhood. If you would have crossed 40, or if you would have got 30 to 35, 40, surely I'm sure that one of these games you would have played in your childhood, because of we are being introduced by our parents. And the seven stones you would have played, and you would have played kabaddi, you would have played kannamuchi, that is the hide and seek, would have played pandi. This no, the pandi I would like to mention it very specifically. In occupational therapist, if you go to the room, there are a lot of squares and boxes and other aspects have been drawn, and people have been asked to hop. People have been asked to hop and go across. This particular game has been used even by an occupational therapist for special children to understand the depth perception, to understand the perpetual distancing and other aspects. So look at the benefits of these games which have been present already in our culture itself, which we have never named it with the psychological benefits, and also chain forming. And also, this hide and seek has a lot of impact of psychological well-being and wellness. So people are able to be very, there are a lot of learning styles are there. People are visual learner, people are auditory learner, people are kinesthetic learner, people are in very, so this fine tunes, this kannamuchi fine tunes your other senses to help, if you are not being visually inclined to see the world around, how can you sharpen the other senses? How can you be associated with the other senses to reach out your goal? And they will be very sharp in picking up sounds. They will be very good in understanding the peripheral eye, the peripheral eye. You will be able to see the presence of someone without actually seeing them visually. That is the peripheral body. So these are the senses could be activated through these kind of a games. And this bumper topper is also for the, the balancing, fine motor skills, and also the, the gross motor skill. All these have been trained. Even with the goli gundu, what we use it for this marble, picking up. It's also for the goal setting, level of aspiration, and also direction, distance, direction, speed calculation, and achievement. So this helps them to move on to the achievement motivation levels. So all these games could be aligned with the psychological benefits. First and foremost, wellness I would mention is the physical wellness, and because it is directly involved with a lot of physical movements. You have to really jump, hop, run, and move around. Keep moving in games. That is a very important, especially outdoor games. And also, the psychological benefits are emotional and social. You all know that when the child is born with a lot of energy, they when they are growing up till the adolescent, the hormonal balancing and also the adrenaline rush will be high. they would definitely seek kind of an adventure things. This could help them to secrete the endorphin, and because of that, they feel good comes. No, that feel good is something called an emotional aspect, and the social aspect. They naturally tend to be with friends, be with peers, and they like to be with their team, like to be mingle with the team. And they go, even if they go to a new place, if there are people are playing, they tend to go and be friendly because they wanted to play. So the play makes them to connect, to socialize, and also help them to be, through the inhibition to socialize. These are the aspects. And even the children with an inhibition to socialize, they will be watchers. They will be looking for opportunities to someone to call, grab, and pull them, a kind of. There will be some people in that group to do that also. And also the moral aspects are there. There is a lot of moral development takes place when it comes to, the games. And you will see that the fairness has to be there, the rules has to be followed, and there are certain aspects which as and traditionally followed has to be followed in the game. And there should be some code of conduct for every rule, every game. And they also see that if you are out, if you are not actually and you are not actually into the kind of an aspect of you are not ready for joining, or you are not having a fair game, or you are being judgmental, that is being come into a surface, and people come forward and sort it out. And it is also something very spiritually inclined, because I have come across a lot of games which has been associated with spiritualness. Even in Bhagavad Gita, there are a lot of games have been talked about, and even Krishna plays a lot of games along with their gopikas. And a very important aspect I have found, that very interesting aspect is the our Tamil literature, lot of literatures, Kuravanji and other aspects have lot of connection. Even Lord Murugan had a lot of plays with Valli. So these are the aspects of being covered, even spiritual inclinations, because when a game you become a child, there is no expectation for you. You just involve yourself in the entire flow, and you enjoy everything what you do, and whatever you feel, enjoy and do dutifully whatever in that particular moment, able to make the other person happy. That brings a kind of a spiritual connection. That is what been said by many of the researchers. So the all spectrum, all lifespan, if I ask someone to do this game, even Suresh will be ready to do a goli gundu round. If I ask Salim to do an what is the gilli tanda, he will be able to do that. So the person, the child inside, and everybody, every adult is really rejuvenated when the games are being introduced to them. And every game has a rules to follow. This is a very important aspect to think about as a psychologist, because we have been trying, especially with this particular pandemic, there is a lot of people are missing out the schedule, lot of people are missing out, messing up with their regular routine, and the rhythm of life has gone. But this game really helps us to follow the rules. And people who play a game for a quite long time consistently are they're also getting disciplined. You can see that any sports person or an athlete, the first and foremost important aspect for would have been taught to them is the fitness. They need to discipline themselves. Their mind need to be disciplined. The rule is a rule at any cost. You have to play for the game with the rule. And when they have been taught with that set of rules, and disciplining takes place. The mind requires a kind of flexibility, but it doesn't mean that it is randomly here and there. There should be a kind of a rhythm in that. So that rhythm is being taken place when you are involved in games. So disciplining takes place, and regulation. When you have been physically been aligned for this, your emotional regulation, because you will sometimes forego, some let go, forgive people because they are your team member. You would have seen that some of the aspects are not fitting, but you make it possible because you are part of the team. You don't actually come out and yell on these aspects. You think of only the benefits of the team. So this is a very essential aspect we all gain through the game, is something called a regulation and disciplining for the brain and the behavior. And a very important aspect, life skills talks about 4 pillars of education: learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, learning to live together. All these 4 pillars have been taken in consideration along with the games, whatever you are choosing to play. whichever game you wanted to, there will be an instruction, rules, and doing will be involved, and be involved in that and live together, be in a team. That's a very essential aspect. Even in solo games has a very great philosophy. For example, golf. If you take a golf, and I used to find it very boring game that people used to go with long sticks, long walk, and then they have to give a hit, and then however it goes to distance. That's all a game is all about. And again, somebody has to carry their bag, and again they have to go. This I find it very boring. But when I came to know about even golf has a great philosophy, there is no opponent for golf players. They beat every time their own target. They are the opponent for themselves. Even a single, solo players, solo games are having great philosophy. So we need to really understand the game and its philosophy first. So with this note, I have come and given an overall picture how it helps us and how it helps to build our physical, emotional, and social and other aspects of our life, and how traditional games have been aligned with especially the psychological aspects I have covered. And I also mentioned about the life skills, the four pillars, how it is connected to the game. And a very important aspect of discipline and regulation we have seen. And there is also a very important theory based on this. There is there is a personality theory based on these games, and which could be actually could be connected to that. That is, there are four personality you can actually categorize based on the game play or other aspects which they pick up. There are people who are explorers, seekers, connectors, and mediators. You can naturally see that these people fall in this category if they choose the game accordingly. So what the explorer does, he choose and expand their activities. They want to explore. They don't actually wanted to get into a stereotypical thing. They wanted to be very creative. They wanted to be adventurous. They wanted to see different things, different perspective. They're very curious to know. They're very, very innovative in their approaches. They don't shy putting themselves in an even in potentially uncomfortable or a threatening thing. They will come forward and they will test themselves, and they attend public meetings, rails, or other events, and they encounter people in different ways of for themselves. They are explorers. You can see these people seek very adventurous games, and they will never stop exploring, innovating, or enhancing, improvising their game strategies. This is could be possible to explore through this. And the other one is about the seeker. Seeker, they're very perspective taking, very calculated people. They understand the values, they know the details of it, they go with a focus, and they have to play with their individuality. They cannot go and join with a mass. They wanted to play the individuality, and they put before all the aspects what they are going to do in detail. They know, for example, if they want to go for in politics, they will have a very good strategy for themselves. The seeker is constantly learning about new perspective, new stories. They definitely be why this story is all about. They ask questions like, and they also don't want it to be judgmental in certain aspect. They wanted to really gain a logical, rational reasoning about what they are doing. They don't let someone identities or ideologies define them. They they identify, they also define their own ideologies, and they get into a root of someone. There are a lot of people. I can give you example that there are game setters. These people are game setters. They are not following a game as it is. They will change the entire game by their own style. So these people are seekers. And then the connector. These people are very, very happy going, lucky people, focus on solutions, and they wanted to be in connection. They wanted to be in the team. They wanted to be identified with the team. They want to collaborate, and they think also in a collaboration. My team, how need to be recognized. I have to work for my team, kind of an. And they are very intuitive ability to be with people. Different strength they can pull together. They know that their weakness and they know the other strength. They will pull together and they'll make it as a common goal. They work for the team. These connectors are very naturally inclined, like-minded people to join together and play together. This you can see that these people are very sociable, people oriented, love to be with people, all this. And the other one is about the mediator. They practice mindfulness. They're very self-distancing, very, very disciplined people, listen with a lot of compassion. They will be a mediator if there is something goes wrong, and they will be the person to solve that. And these people will be like captainship. They take, they emerge as a leader out of the entire situation. They become and they regulate their emotions. They don't get lose their emotion. They will be a cool player. Like Dhoni, he plays his game in a very cool manner, and he is famous for that. So they have a fairness. They also very sensibly connect with people. They empathize, and they also move around with people, and they become an arbitrator. If there is a chaos, or there is a problem, or there is something, the problem solving takes place, these people come forward to resolve. So these are the mediator kind of, and these people are very important in middle managing level. So in these four categories, you can identify through the games itself. These four categories can be a great leaders in the, the later on. So you have to be aware of what is the kind of a leadership this person are possessing intuitively. That means what is that intrinsically this person possess, and how we can groom them. It is possible if we are being aware of and watching them very closely. And this I have taken from the internet, the games, what the people play and how it is helping a game and environment, what that really helps, and how learning theories are related to that. All that is there in the aspects. If you really see feedback, people have been, first of all, game players will be ready. They will be able to give instructions very clearly. The people who are involved in that. So it grooms the communication. It helps in activities and tasks and accomplishment of tasks. They will never, in a given period, if they are going to play, they will see to that they are able to play with the time frame. They will never get distracted. The time frame is fixed for them. And they'll be very interactive, goal-oriented, focused, and they will follow the instructions. And some of the instructions may not be actually applicable for them. They don't like that, but they will follow. They will follow the rules and regulations. That is the crux of the game. And also difficulty level game, there will be difficulty level in all the games, but they will see that in each level they will pass on. The motivation, the intrinsic motivation will be triggered for people who are involved in game and play for a quite long time. And the flow, this is the most beautiful thing from positive psychology I can mention, positive engagement. The people are able to join and also engage in a flow. They will never think of what is the time last. They will enjoy what they are doing. They'll be totally immersed in that particular act, that is game. And the narrative, so how they are able to give the narrative of that, is the communication develops along. And also this creativity, competition, whatnot. I have listed out this PPT. I'll send across. You can see this. And this also helps in a learning in a very great, aspects. It builds the knowledge. It gives you a lot of attention. It helps you to limit the other sensory inputs which is disturbing you, able to focus on something which is actually in front of you as a goal. And observation skills have been really been groomed, because every game requires an observation, keen observation. That is a key, essential, fundamental skill for other skill developments. So certain core fundamental skills you have been laid by the games. So that is very important. Sense of control. They'll be able to sense of bodily control, sense of mind control. If I'm very angry on the ground, if I show it on the ball, kicking on the ball, that is fine. But if I show it in other way, it is not going to be productive. So a sense of control over their emotion, sense of control over the relationship, sense of control over their bodily movements are very essential. And very, very importantly, the ability to concentrate increases over the time, a period of time. The athlete who is practicing initially, the athlete who is practicing after three years, you can see that their mind, the neurological pathways which is laid are beautifully clearly states that they are very focused on certain aspects of their life. There is a habit formation, there is a discipline, and there is an kind of an orientation for all this. And then the very important learning outcomes, they're oriented with the learning outcomes. They know what the games are going to give them. They're very, very clear about that. And the skills at all the levels have been satisfied, learner level and the mediator level, and then the other average, all have been accommodative in this, in the skill development. This is a very important aspect of games. And being friendly, being connected, being very authentic and original, being very, very generous, being, you create your own design of a game. You were able to be, aligned with the people around, their problems, and you are able to empathize with them, problem solving, creativity, you're able to imagine, visualize. My son is a cricket player. He used to tell me that when he has been going to everyday practice of camp, he used to say that night and all he will be, he will be doing in the sleep also, like this, kicking the ball or bowling or kind of. And so this the kind of an visualization is there for them. They'll be able to be a collaborative learners. And these are the enormous benefits of game when it is being structured, introduced, and they have been given an opportunity to play for a quite long time. The children requires a game or game, judicially they have to be allowed to play that too outdoor, the game which they really enjoy and rejoice, that has to be actually motivated for the children. This really helps them in various ways, and this has been proven in many of the researchers. That's the reason at 40 years, 50 years, we are using experiential learning, game, play, activity, method of training for people. And there is a lot of skill development training programs we are doing at the 50. What is the use of it when there is an early foundation is lacking? So you put the people, you put the children on various classes, tuition classes, language classes, this, that, this. But the main game, outdoor games, and also the traditional games, which they are inclined to do, which will definitely help them to, build. This is something hard skills, hardware, which helps to build the software, that is missing. That connection we have to really create for the children. And what is the benefits of this? You can see the benefits are, the total psychological well-being. I'll say that they'll be able to have an optimal mental health. They'll be purposefully engaged. They will never get bored. The children who is saying right now during the pandemic, you can see that the people who are not engaged are saying bored, and they have been keep on into another indulging into other aspects which is not productive, which is not actually skill developing, which is not. Mostly people are into gadgets. So we have to really think about this, what way we can engage them. It's a very important aspect. And then relationship building. Games are in give and take is there. There is a forgiveness, there is a letting go, there is also an acceptance, there is also adjustment. All that is there. All these are virtues for relationship, which has been taught by the games intrinsically. It has been beautifully netted inside us, and the game itself. And the meaning, they feel every day is going with a meaning, every day is living for them. It's important, not just being, living is very important. And then accomplishment, the game is finished, whether you are winner or a runner, or it doesn't matter, but you are an player. It's a very important aspect. You are a player, and you are a key player, and you were a winner or a runner, you played for the team. That is a matters, that matters a lot. So the accomplishment is there. Sleep is very good because of physical activity, so there is an exertion of energy and calories, so people are able to rest productive, with a rhythmic cycle. And also nutrition, they eat, and they, I could see that when the child has been sitting for a quite long time and they're been going only for the school, they will be hating to eat. Actually, they won't eat well. If you have put them in any camp or a game or an activity or any kind of things, if they are going regularly, as soon as they come back, they will grab whatever you give. They won't be complaining anything. So it's very important for all of us. And also, before that, they will be looking for taste. Now they will look for the nutrition, sustaining the energy, all that. You can see that the protein is very good for sustaining energy. They will look for sundal or protein rich foods. So that is possible for all of us. Through game, we can inculcate all this. And then life is optimistically designed for them. So they also think there is a life for them. They go, go and every day with an enthusiasm, zeal, and zest is there. And physical activity directly it is connected. So they move Always the movements are very important for all of us. And feel good, which is something called a positive emotion. The endorphin secretes very high for them, so they are feeling very good for them. And also, these aspects are very essential for our theory of well-being, which has been stated, and this is from the positive psychology framework. And I also connect very well with this particular positive psychology because it is more of an efficiency model. So game is also a kind of an anticipating and also giving lot of fundamental core principles to connect with our life of living and being. So this is something which I really found it very interesting. And tell me, list of benefits of this particular game. You would have played this Pallanguli. Tell me. You can use the chat box or you can unmute itself and tell. You would have played Pallanguli, no? Tell me list of benefits, whatever you know. Planning, very good. Vishal Mugund. Counting, super. Numerical ability. Whenever there is a game, the brain started thinking, organizing takes place. Before you get into a game, you set the floor. So organization of that particular aspect, the whole picture, the detailed picture, the big picture, you are able to think about. You keep all the material ready, isn't it? So thinking is very, very important. No? You are talking about all this. There are other aspects are very important in this. We are talking about the subtle aspects. I'm giving you the important aspect. The finger dexterity improves. The gross and fine motor skills are improving. And people I'll tell you this, I was really astonished when I visited one of the hospital where the brain injury people have been playing board games because they lost connection of certain aspects in their neural pathways or damaged because of the brain injury. They have been secreting grains now with the color and shape and size, the concept formation. They have been doing right from the beginning what you have done. So this particular game has been designed in such a way you are able to regain such a kind of a finger dexterity, gross motor and fine motor skills. This has been done. Even the old grannies used to play with the kids because they also require dexterity. When they grow old, their dexterity goes little off because of the nervous weaknesses. And this helps them to keep the grip, and they also control over the shivering and all if they play such a kind of a game. Okay, moving on to the next one. Tell me what this game is giving you, and it has a great philosophy also. You all know what is this, no? Snake and ladder. What is this game gives you? Ups and downs of life. So sweet of you. That's nice. Then acceptance. Great. Then ups and downs of emotions. Very nice. Very nice. Tolerance. Beautiful. Very good. Tolerance, patience, resilience, accept. All the soft aspect of life philosophy has been taught through this snake and ladder. There are ups will be there will be beautiful. Now, especially with this pandemic, the uncertainty is revealing to the core. You require such a kind of a perspective in life. So people are able to gain perspectives, risk taking, acceptance, tolerance, patience, resilience, and also the very important aspect, the life of probability. And every step you take, you move on, you keep moving, you have faith in your movement, but the results, the outcome is not in your hand. It is a Gita philosophy, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita philosophy. Beautifully, this is described in this particular game. The children are able to learn patience through these games. Okay, we are going to have such a kind of an aspects with all this. The first and foremost important, two girls are playing in a square, which you know that. What is that? Accept others' success. Okay, that is fine. That is excellent one you have given, Ashwin. I move on to the next slide. See, these games are endless. I have curtailed because of the timing. Can you just tell me that about some of the games which you have been pictured here. Some of the pictures. Can you name the games? Cover problem, I cannot see your slide. Okay, very sorry about that. Gilly, okay, chess, fantastic. Okay, Gilly, okay. Gilly has been said that the balancing perpetual depth and depth perception, also the distance, speed, and also the aspects of, the level of aspiration and all these, the force, force, speed, distance calculation. All these have been, gained through this balance, body balance. And also audibly atom that gives you a lot of, it is a very important as brain game. And chess has been told that it actually activates both hemispheres if you have been involved in chess, and the logical and as well as this, because it is more tactile and also color, and as well as with the aspect of logical moves. So this is something, the memory has been really sharpened if you play games. The memory, because every game has a set of rules, you have to follow the instructions, you have to keep that in mind in application. That means you have been constantly been remembered those rules and application. So that is something the neural, we say the small cubes or chunks have been filled. These chunks have been occupied with the games and instructions. That's a very important aspect. So we are able to do that. Aim and physical activity. Coco has a beautiful orientation of the entire Kulakulaya Mundrika. That's a nice one. It's a fun game, but that has a lot of interconnection, interpersonal relationship skills. And these aspects, all these games have a psychological impact in our life. These are traditional games which has been played in our ancient India itself. So I can give you a lot of examples in literature. That is another kind of a session. So I'm not going in deep on that. Holy, yes. So beauty of traditional games are, it is very inclusive in nature. You can see that the people from all criteria, all creator and all kind of an aspects are joined together and do this. Even the Kallaka we play, the small stones we use to 7 stones or other things, which is helpful for our grip, and also the finger dexterity, cross motor and fine motor, all this, and especially with the neural pathways and the eye hand coordination, and the very important aspect, the psychomotor aspects have been taught right from the beginning of our children. So these coordinations have been even important even when you become a mission operator, when you become a person who's sitting in a very great position. Also, you require these aspects. Even for your computers, you require all this, isn't it? So with the feather touch, you may not be able to. With these kind of textures, you can learn, fast. And then also skipping, hopping is very important aspect. Therefore, one of the very important perpetual development, they say. And I'll tell you that some children, they have never been introduced to hopping. They see that some of the learning aspect they are missing. There was one interesting study. I have done that. So I have studied that. I got really amazed to see that these children have never been introduced a concept called a hopping. So you would have had in your nursery rhymes, hop, 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 isn't it? So that is simply make the person to jump and hop and other things. No, this is not being taught to the children, and they have come to know that some of the learning parts have been missing for these children. And these are being used in OT, that is occupational therapy, as a separate session for them. You can see all these traditional things have been mixed in OT. And also very important aspects, and I have to tell it in this case, the gendering also been looked into. We have to really consider that these are the games which boys can play. These are the games which girls only can play. All that were there. And then later on, when you are moving only, we have, a lot of these aspects have loosened up, and people used to mix up and play. And especially when they're crossing adolescent, that was the greatest challenge for them in those days. But after that, I can see that now there's a lot of change. changes have taken place. So these are the 8 dimensions directly be benefited internally: health, happiness, wealth, and as well as the spiritual aspect. These are being really benefited for you. And also the other aspect is very important is need the harmony. That is a very important. You are able to live with the harmony of people around, environment around. That's an aspect itself is spiritual one. And externally, you are able to connect with the environment. You are being able to, you play in sun, hot sun. Vitamin D is sufficiently, given to you. Extra dose is being given, and you're playing in windy day. You play in actually and rain. All the kind of an environment you get used to that, and body get conditioned for all this. And socially, you have been inclined to be people along with because you love to be with people because you love games. And then financially, this is very going to be helpful because you're all the more you are being energetic, active, and been keep thinking about movements, and that will help you in your get rid of your laziness, get rid of other aspects, and also the higher order thinking, organizing yourself, planning yourself, following the rules, and getting disciplined. All these are helping you to get into financial discipline also. And occupational, you will be a game player, you will be a game setter, you will be a very creative person. All the skills I have already enlisted. So with this note, I'm moving on to the last slide that is about how important it is in the game. That is, we have seen that let us bring back our games by teaching our kids. It may be whatever the little thing you all know, plus make sure that let the game be played by the children. Let it be open air, let it be eco-friendly, let it be within limited resources, but with a lot of happiness and satisfaction and also meaningfulness. So with this note, I am completing this, and I would like to welcome a lot of interaction and also a lot of inputs from your side also. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Monica. Thank you. Thank you, Sadia. Vijay Priya, thank you. Manikavalli, thank you. Muralidharan, thank you. Also, there are a lot of people
Dear
that say.
participant, you can unmute yourself. If you want to ask or if you like to interact with the resource person, you are welcome now.
Greetings to you, ma'am.
Good evening,
Thanks a lot for your wonderful session. How are you, ma'am?
I'm really doing very well. I'm happy you are back, Manikavalli. Tell me what is that you would like to interact.
Ma'am, I enjoyed the show very much, ma'am. Because as a maths teacher, I have converted all the traditional games into maths. So you can view those in my channel, Enjoy with Education itself. I have transformed most of the traditional games into mathematics way. So your presentation gave me so much confidence to go further, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. Somebody would like to ask me a question or something you would like to contribute, I will be very happy. Something I would have also missed out in my presentation, you can actually point out that also. Salim ji?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes,
evening,
please. Good evening.
the
Ashwin,
session
please.
was really wonderful.
Thank
It was
you.
so nice. We all enjoyed it. You took us back to our childhood.
Yes, childhood memories, I know.
Yeah, it was so nice. Seriously, enchanting.
Thank you.
Ma'am, nowadays, as we are in COVID, we are not able to go out and play, right? So,
Yes.
and for some of us, it's a single kid for some parents, and for some, it is 3 or something. So, like, can you suggest certain things like any traditional ones for a single kid and for the 3 or 2 we can group so that they get engaged during this time.
Yeah, this is a very important aspect you have raised, Rashmi. One is during this pandemic, of course, we cannot go out and play, but you family members have to really take up the role of a peer. I don't think so that you will not enjoy a game with a child. You will definitely enjoy. If it is going to be a snake and ladder or a board game, you can really play very well inside the room. And hide and seek also. I have done a lot of hide and seek games when I know, even grown up. So that you can actually try off. And the terrace is there, you can actually play there. Carom you can play. Chess you can play. Audible you can play. This Dayakatai we say, no, that you can play. And these aspects which board games you can play inside, that is possible for all of us. Even Pandi in the terrace you can play. I'll tell you the benefits of hopping for adult also. If you hop, it really helps you to keep up your balance. And the brain is able to actually gain the balance and also able to neutralize the effect of both both legs. If you started hopping, by changing your legs, it has started learning that, no, because you have been conditioning your right hand for a quite long time. So you're activating both hemispheres by doing hopping. So that is also possible you can play. So certain aspects we have to be innovative within this thing. And with a single child, make sure that your child has been put up in any sports or sports academy or a camp if there is a summer camp for game, let it not be for always studies here. Please let them also enjoy life during their adolescence.
Ma'am, actually, I want to mention a game, ma'am. A lot more games are there, but in my childhood, I played a game with bangles. It may be in any size, bangles and a stick. We have to take each and every bangle without trembling. This game actually now developed into Crumbling Monkey game in the Mattel company. Now it is costing 1,500. But we played just with the waist bangles and just a stick. Like this, each and every game. Actually, we are selling games now. I've gone through all the games in Mattel and Fisher Price and all the companies. Each and every game is developed with our traditional games only, ma'am. The games we played are very effective, cost effective. We just picked some stones there and we played with that. But now for that they are shaping that coins into molded like that nicely. They are shaping, then they are giving colors just like that, but they are costing 1,500, 2,000.
Yes.
It's really we played without cost, ma'am. We enjoyed that.
Especially which you have mentioned right now, the bangle with the things games, not we used to, that is for steadiness and as well as for the finger dexterity we use it. And also with bangles we used to make, when you show it in the bangle, when you show the bangle, broken bangle in a candle, if you show a broken bangle in a candle light, it actually melts and it bends. So we create a chain out of bangles, and we also play with that, who is making a longest chain kind of. So we used to go and ask broken bangles from the shops, especially glass bangles, and we used to do that. So these are smallest things which cost nothing but waste, art out of waste. We have done several things. Very valid, Manikavalli. Anything else you would like to mention? Anybody? Suresh is very happy. First time I have finished on time. என்ன கேம் தம்பி விளையாடுறாரு?
Salim sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Today's research person, Dr. Subhasri ma'am. Everybody recall their old memories actually. So it was not only session, it was like a they look back, they recall their old memories, childhood memories and all. That was the hottest point we can get the feedback from the participants. Ma'am, you very well explained on the benefits and the psychological aspect of the traditional games. And, you rightly connected to the personality theory to the game. like how the like explore kind of people, what kind of benefits they will get from the games, like they will be the innovative person, personality, fearless people, and how the secret type of people, what kind of personality they will have, like a strategic person. Of course, in the characters, they will be the always happy-going people. So you very well explained, ma'am, and nice to know that golf and solo games philosophy. So nobody knows the philosophy of the golf game actually. So it's a very wonderful insight today we got, and individual games and solo games. What is the philosophy behind that? And nice to know that the 8-dimensional wheel of the games, like internally how we are getting benefits like health, happiness, and spiritual. Of course, on the external financial, environmental, occupational. So a lot we done them. So nothing very without any doubt we can accept the game is a fundamental way that a human can interact with a team, and games are really a natural way of building psychological well-being. Of course, we can get it will build our wellness, like physical wellness, psychological, emotional, and social aspect as well. So we learned a lot from you, ma'am, and not only that, really we went back to our golden memories, and we enjoyed actually. So thank you very much, ma'am. Kindly accepted our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai, Red Pond Educational Psychological Research Center Madurai, and Yellow Pond for Technical Support, and Madras School of Social Work Chennai, and MS Chalamt Institute of Rehabilitation Center Madurai. And thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you all the participants.
Salim sir, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.